You're seeing this explosion of golden glitter. LED lights flashing like crazy. A red-haired girl screaming into the microphone. Other girls doing perfect choreography behind her. In this video, you'll discover something incredible. How a simple K-pop contest at SchoolVerse Academy turned into the biggest musical war this school has ever witnessed. And how Diego was finally put to the ultimate test about who he really loves. And it all started when the principal made an epic announcement. We would have the school's first official K-pop group contest, inspired by the K-pop Warriors movie that's dominating theaters. And when Luna found out that Mila was also going to participate. But before getting to this epic chaos of idol competition, insane performances, and emotional revelations, let me tell you how it all started. Because this story has biased rivalry, explosive dance breaks, and mainly, the hardest decision Diego has ever had to make in his life. Guys, Monday started differently at SchoolVerse Academy. The principal called all students to the main auditorium. She announced news that literally made the place explode with excitement. With the absolute success of the K-pop Warriors movie dominating theaters, the school decided to hold our first official K-pop group contest in history. Can you imagine the madness this caused? The auditorium basically turned into a BTS concert. Screams, applause, and girls already planning group formations on the spot. The principal explained it would be a complete competition, with original performances, elaborate choreographies, conceptual looks, and even original compositions would be a differential. The prize, $5,000 to split among the winning group, a special performance at the year-end festival, and the official title of SchoolVerse Academy K-pop group. But here comes the detail that changed everything. Each group could have a maximum of 5 members. Registration would only be open for 3 days. The rush started immediately. Groups forming, breaking up, people negotiating positions, like it was a real idol contract negotiation. Mila was sitting at the cafeteria table with Yuki, talking quietly about math classes. When she heard Sarah commenting with other girls about the contest, Mila said, "Sarah, are you guys going to participate in the K-pop contest?" Sarah looked kind of surprised and answered. Sarah said, "Of course, Mila. Luna is already organizing everything. She wants to put together the most professional group possible. You know how she's a perfectionist with these performance things." Yuki nudged Mila and whispered. Yuki said, "Mila, you should participate too. You sing super well and dance better than half the girls at school." Mila was thoughtful for a few seconds, playing with her wavy red hair, then smiled in that characteristic sweet way. Mila said, "You know, that's an interesting idea. I've always loved K-pop, and it would be cool to try something new. But it would be kind of intimidating to compete against groups that have been organizing for hours." Yuki clapped excitedly. Yuki said, "Then let's form our own group. Me, you, and we can invite a few more girls. It'll be epic." At that moment, Luna passed by their table. She heard the conversation and stopped with that competitive smile we already know well. Luna said, "Mila, what a surprise to know you're going to participate in the contest. It'll be interesting to see how you do in a real performance competition. I hope you've prepared something really special. Because my group is investing heavily in visual concept, professional choreography, and even original composition." The tension in the air was palpable, guys. Luna was clearly establishing territory, showing she was already light years ahead in preparation. But Mila, always diplomatic, just smiled and replied. Mila said, "How cool, Luna! It'll be amazing to see all the performances. The important thing is that everyone has fun and shows their talents." Luna gave a little laugh. that didn't hide any of her competitiveness. Luna said, "Oh yes, fun is important, but I'd say winning is even more fun. Anyway, good luck with forming your group." And she left swaying that sleek black hair, making it clear that war was officially declared. Yuki looked at Mila with an indignant face. Yuki said, "Guys, she's unbearable. Now I really want us to put together an amazing group just to show her that she's not the only one who rules this school." Mila laughed in that gentle way of hers and said, "Calm down, Yuki. It's not about showing anything to anyone. If we're going to do this, it's because it'll be fun and because we can really create something cool together." But then, guys, something happened that nobody was expecting. Diego appeared at their table with that kind of disinterested posture. That's his trademark. But you know Diego. Behind all that coldness, there's always something happening. Diego said, "I heard you guys are entering the K-pop contest." Mila looked surprised and said, "Diego, I didn't know you paid attention to these things." Diego said, "I don't pay attention to K-pop, but I pay attention when the whole school is talking about competition. Besides, some of my teammates are thinking about forming a male group." Yuki couldn't hide her surprise and said, "Really? You guys from the soccer team are going to do K-pop?" Diego shrugged, trying to seem disinterested. Diego said, "Why not? It's not like it's rocket science. It's just dancing and singing, right?" Mila smiled and said, "Well, it's a bit more complex than that. K-pop involves a lot of visual concept, perfect sync, facial expressions, stage presence." Diego said, "Stage presence?" Mila nodded and said, "It's how you carry yourself on stage, how you transmit emotion through movement and expression. It's what separates a good presentation from an unforgettable presentation." For a few seconds, Diego was quiet, watching Mila talk passionately about the subject. You could see in his eyes that genuine interest he always tries to hide. Yuki, who's smart, noticed the chemistry in the air and decided to take advantage. Yuki said, "Diego, if you guys are really going to form a group, we could train together sometimes. Exchange ideas about choreography and these things." Diego hesitated for a second, clearly trying to decide between maintaining his tough guy pose or accepting the opportunity to spend more time near Mila. Diego said, "Maybe, if it doesn't interfere with team practices. And look, if you guys need help with something more technical, like sound or equipment, I know people who can help." Mila was visibly touched by the offer and said, "That would be incredible, Diego. Thank you." Yuki took the opportunity to tease. Yuki said, "What a gentleman. Who would have thought that behind this tough exterior, there's a gentle heart?" Diego immediately activated defense mode. Diego said, "It's not about being gentle. It's about being practical. If you're going to do something, do it right." And he left there quickly, before anyone could interpret that help as something romantic. But guys, did you see how his eyes lit up when Mila smiled? This boy is in love down to the last strand of hair, even trying to act tough. The next few days were an insane rush at SchoolVerse Academy. Groups forming, breaking up, reformulating. It seemed like the entire school had turned into a teenage version of a K-pop audition show. Luna, obviously, had already assembled her supergroup, with Sarah and 3 more girls known for being good at dancing. They were rehearsing in the music room every afternoon, from the videos circulating through the school's WhatsApp groups. Their performance was really impressive. Super synchronized choreography, coordinated looks, even the hairstyles were matching. Mila and Yuki managed to form their group with 3 more friends. Keiko, who had an incredible voice for rap. Hana, who was a classical dancer and could adapt more technical movements to K-pop. And Saki, who knew how to edit music and promised to create an original bass for them. The concept they chose was something softer and more elegant, kind of the opposite of the more aggressive and powerful vibe that Luna was following. They decided to focus on vocal harmony, fluid choreography, and a cleaner visual, betting on technique and emotiveness instead of pure visual impact. But then, guys, came the surprise that nobody was expecting. Diego really formed a male group with 4 friends from the soccer team. And it wasn't a joke. They were taking it seriously. They hired a professional choreographer, rented costumes, and even got authorization to use the school gym to record their performance music video. The news spread through the school like wildfire. Suddenly, everyone was talking about how the most popular boys in school had entered the K-pop competition. Some thought it was epic. Others thought it was weird. But everyone agreed that this made the competition 1,000 times more interesting. Mila was genuinely impressed when she found out. She couldn't hide her admiration. Mila said, "Yuki, did you see that Diego really formed a group? That's so cool. It shows he's not afraid to step out of his comfort zone." Yuki smiled mischievously and said, "Or it shows he wants to impress a certain redhead we know." Mila said, "Yuki, it's nothing like that. He's just being brave." Wait, guys. Do you think you know what competition is? Because now that I've told you just the basics of the situation, you're going to freak out with the intensity this took. And look, if you're as addicted to this story as I am telling it, at the end of this video, I'm going to present you with an insane surprise that will leave you even more connected to the SchoolVerse universe. Leave that cheeky like there and subscribe to the channel, because what comes next is going to be epic and you can't miss it. Because just when it seemed like the groups were set and everything would go smoothly in a healthy competition, Luna discovered something that completely changed the rules of the game. It was on Thursday, 2 days before the final presentation, that the bomb exploded. Luna discovered that Mila's group was rehearsing in a room next to the room they used. She managed to hear part of the original song they were preparing. And guys, from the way she left there, you could see she had gotten genuinely worried. Sarah commented later with some friends that Luna spent the entire afternoon in her room, listening to the song they had prepared and taking notes on how they could improve. For the first time since they announced the contest, Luna seemed genuinely nervous about the competition. On Friday, the eve of the presentations, something happened that will be marked in SchoolVerse Academy history forever. All groups had to do a dress rehearsal in the auditorium, in a drawn order, to test sound, lighting, and give a preview to the judges. Luna drew to present first. And guys, their presentation was absolutely cinematic. Dark and powerful concept. Synchronized military choreography. Powerful vocals. And a visual that looked like it came directly from a professional girl group music video. The entire school that was watching exploded in applause. You could see that the bar had been set very high for the next groups. Diego's group presented in 3rd place. It was one of the biggest surprises in school history. The boys had prepared a performance that mixed K-pop with hip-hop elements and even some soccer movements in the choreography. It was masculine, powerful, different from everything anyone expected. And their synchronization was perfect. The audience went wild, especially the girls who never imagined seeing the most popular athletes at school doing body rolls and idol expressions. But what drew the most attention was how Diego was completely delivered to the performance, showing an artistic side of him that nobody knew. During the entire presentation, several times he looked directly at where Mila was sitting. She couldn't disguise how impressed and proud she was. Yuki nudged her several times, whispering. Yuki said, "Mila, he's performing for you. Look how he looks at you during the most intense parts." Mila tried to concentrate on the presentation, but it was obvious she was emotional, seeing Diego express himself that way. When it was Mila's group's turn, who was drawn last, the pressure was sky high. After seeing two absolutely flawless performances, they knew they needed to deliver something special. And guys, they delivered much more than that. The original music that Saki had created was a perfect mix of melodic K-pop with American pop elements, creating something completely unique and exciting. Hana's choreography was fluid but impactful, with movements that told a story of overcoming and friendship. But what really stole the scene was Mila's stage presence. She was radiant, confident, singing with an emotion that touched the hearts of those watching. During the bridge of the song, when she did a vocal solo, you could hear a pin drop in the auditorium. Everyone was hypnotized by the pure emotion she was transmitting. And when they finished with a final formation that looked like a work of art in movement, the audience exploded in an ovation that lasted almost 2 minutes. But the reaction that mattered most was happening in a specific chair in the bleachers. Diego was standing, applauding with an intensity he had never shown publicly. For the first time since we've known this boy, he wasn't trying to hide how impressed and proud he was of Mila. On Saturday, the day of the final presentations, the entire school was electric. The auditorium packed with students, teachers, parents, and even alumni. The school's social media on fire with hashtags like K-pop SchoolVerse, Warriors Challenge, and Idol Academy. The energy was surreal, literally seeming like a professional music event. When the presentation started, the atmosphere was like an international music festival. Each group delivered incredible performances, but 3 stood out absurdly. Luna and her group maintained the super high level from rehearsal, delivering a flawless technical performance with moments that drew screams from the audience. Diego's group exceeded all expectations, showing an artistic evolution that nobody imagined was possible in such a short time. But when Mila and her group went on stage for the last time, something magical happened that nobody will forget. The energy was different. Mila was radiant, confident, completely delivered to the music. During the climax of the presentation, when she did that vocal solo that had already impressed in rehearsal, the entire auditorium fell into complete silence. It was as if everyone was hypnotized by the pure emotion she was transmitting. And when they finished, the ovation was so intense, it lasted almost 3 minutes. People standing, screams, applause that seemed endless. But the reaction that marked the moment was Diego's. He wasn't just standing, applauding, but he was visibly emotional, with his eyes shining with pride and admiration. And for the first time in his life, he didn't care at all what his friends would think of his reaction. At the time of the final result, the tension was palpable. The judges met for 20 minutes. That seemed like an eternity. The principal came up with the envelope and announced. Principal said, "This was undoubtedly the most competitive and impressive contest I have ever witnessed at SchoolVerse Academy. All groups exceeded our expectations and showed exceptional talents. In third place, we have the Phoenix Rising group, which brought an incredible fusion of styles. In second place, with an absolutely flawless technical performance, Luna's Midnight Queens group. And in first place, winning over the judges through emotion, originality, and connection with the audience, Mila's Harmony Dreams group. The auditorium exploded. Mila and her friends hugged each other, crying with emotion, barely believing what had happened. Luna tried to smile and applaud, but you know her. You could see the frustration stamped on her face. And Diego? He was applauding with an intensity that caught half the auditorium's attention, clearly happier with Mila's victory than if he himself had won. After the awards ceremony, When everyone was congratulating each other and taking photos, Mila approached Diego to thank him for his support. Mila said, "Diego, thank you so much for everything. Your help with the equipment made all the difference, and knowing you were rooting for us, that meant a lot." Diego, clearly fighting between being sincere and maintaining his pose. Diego said, "You guys deserve to win. It was the best performance of the night." Mila smiled in that way that melts anyone. Mila said, "Coming from someone who delivered an incredible performance like you guys, that means even more." Diego said, "Mila, He hesitated, clearly wanting to say something deeper. But at that moment, his friends arrived celebrating and making noise. The friends said, "Diego, let's celebrate. Let's go to the mall." The moment broke. Diego immediately returned to tough guy mode. Diego said, "Mila, anyway, congratulations on the victory. It was cool," and he left with his friends, leaving Mila with that feeling that there was something very important he wanted to say, but couldn't. But guys, do you really think this victory of Mila's in the K-pop contest will stay like this peacefully? Because from the look of pure frustration that Luna was giving to the whole situation, especially seeing how Diego was visibly proud of Mila. If you saw what a music contest can reveal about hidden feelings and rivalries, imagine what will happen when we get to the next episode and discover what Mila did on Day of the Dead that touched everyone's heart, because the way she's going to deal with this special date, maintaining her Christian convictions but respecting those who think differently, will show an emotional maturity that even the most skeptical will have to admit. And guess who will be even more impressed with her personality? If I were you, I wouldn't waste a second. The next episode should already be available. Just click. Oh, and whoever wants to check out our special surprise, which is our exclusive playlist of K-pop songs that played in the SchoolVerse contest, created especially for you. It'll be here too. Run because it's guaranteed success.